Hey guys, today we're gonna learn how to make this wonderful boomerang plane. As the name applies, it boomerangs back to you. You kind of throw it this way and it will just turn around and fly back to you. It's really neat. Now is how it applies. In order to make this paper airplane, we will need an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. If you already have that, skip this part of the video, but if you don't, or you only have A4 or something, just cut a big sheet of A3 paper, or just, do some math and divide it into equal pairs. I'll skip that part as well. Since I have a larger sheet of paper, I'll just cut it up into, a 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper. Okay, so, mark that there. That's 11. And then 8.5. Just put 8.5 here and then mark at the 0-inch point. Now we just have to fold for a little bit and cut the two strips off. Do this. And make sharp creases and use a knife to get it out. I prefer a knife since it has more clean cuts than a scissor, and if you just use your hands, it will be sort of messy and has, not perfect edges. So that's why I'm using a knife. You can use wherever you want. Just make exact folds. Anyway, after doing this, you have to cut this strip of paper as well. Now, after you have successfully done that, we'll really start the folding process. Now, it is best to use 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper, but if you want to use A4, it's perfectly fine, but the last step will be sort of hard to do, and you will most definitely tear pieces of paper, so it will still work like a boomerang, but not as good. Anyway, so we're just gonna use the short edge to fold to the other short edge, making another rectangle. And then what we do is find the quarter point of this leafy edge. How we do that is first make a reference crease in the middle, and then make yet another reference crease by folding this edge to the reference crease that we have just made. After we have done that, if you want, you can mark this point, so the next step will be sort of easier. And then you fold this from this point to this point, making a sharp crease. This step is pretty delicate. You have to do it nice and careful in order to get a really good boomerang plane. Then crease it sharply. What we're gonna do now is a rabbit ear fold. Well, no, actually a squash fold. So what we'll do is just fold down and put this crease sort of in the middle, maybe a teeny tiny bit more to the right, and then crease it. Flip it around and then just sort of make a valley fold, reverse the mountain fold into a valley fold, and voila, you got this part. So what we'll do now is actually quite simple. We fold this point down and to this point, but maybe leave a little bit of space in between, not a whole lot though. And then do this. We just use this crease as reference to fold our other crease here. So it'll be so much easier. then crease it sharply as well. After we have done that, we kind of have to tuck these into this pocket, but it is extremely hard. So what we'll do is we kind of do this, and essentially what we do is sort of create an edge, but this edge is gonna be a little bit smaller than this pocket, so will fit in nicely. So just make a crease there, but if you can see, the crease that I made is just a teensy tiny bit smaller than this pocket behind it. Now we're just gonna be tucking this flap into the pocket. Okay, so be careful with this step since the paper can be easily broken. And anyway, after you have tucked it in, you're sort of let this flap rest on this edge and then fold accordingly. Repeat on the other side. Fold it like this, but leave a teensy tiny bit of edge on the other side. Then tuck this flap in as well. Nice and easy. Sorry, just tuck that in. And this step, it could be a bit hard, so another reason to use some sort of special paper, but still A4 is fine. Normal printed paper is fine as well. Just fold accordingly and use the other creases as possible, and then just, well, fold. After that we have done that, we have to actually fold this flap upward using these 2 points as reference. And repeat on the other side. Okay, now the next step, well, from this moment forward, the steps won't be hard at all. No tucking, no anything. Now what we do in this step is sort of just open this flap and collapse it. Make sure this stays in the middle, and then crease. So there we go. After this, we kind of have to smooth this edge out by doing this. This is one of the airplanes where you could do that. And do it on the other side as well. Okay then. After that we've done that, turn the paper around and then fold this part, and using this 2 points as reference, crease kind of sharply. If you can't do it with your nails, as I can't, maybe use a bit of tools, maybe actually some real origami tools, or just use whatever is next to you. That will be 100% fine. Now, this is our head. We just fold it here. The part that I was saying about, the part that will rip if you use an A4 paper is this part, since it's really thick, but this small piece of paper is actually holding it together. So that's just really important. Now we have to fold the wings. The wings are pretty easy, so what we'll do is sort of just fold down until you see a little triangle here, and then leave it there, fold parallel to the center crease, and do the same on the other side. sort of just match it up with the wing, if you would. Match it all up. So after we have done that, we have to fold this to winglets. We can do a parallel to the center crease and then fold it like that. Should be okay. And the other side as well. Okay, so now it's basically ready, but we still have to do some tweaking about it. Oops, sorry, I didn't fold that flap right. And what we'll do is sort of just curve this flap, since to curve it so we'll hold all the thick pieces together, and on this side as well. I mean, this should just ricochet or just fly back to you like a boomerang. Like this, without any upper elevation pinches on the end. But if you wanna, of course, do that. So just pinch here and then make an upper elevation. So air rushing this way would actually just sort of collapse. Imagine these flaps as my hand, and then this other hand of mine is the air, and then the air will just sort of push this way in turn, since pushing this way will mean that this part of the airplane will actually rise up a little bit, causing it to boomerang back, but there's no need for that, since this is already a pretty special and a pretty neat paper airplane. Well, there you go, the boomerang plane, and see you next time, guys.